Mr. President, the first stop on Donald Trump's so-called affordability tour was a train wreck. Last night's speech in Pennsylvania was supposed to kick off a new messaging campaign on affordability, but all it did was expose how Donald Trump simply doesn't get it. Anyone listening to Trump's speech could see he simply doesn't get what people are struggling through. He's trapped in his billionaire bubble. In his speech that was supposed to be about affordability, Donald Trump kept making fun of the word affordability. Does he have to go shop for groceries and not be able to buy the things his family needs? When your car is injured in an accident and you don't have money for the deductible and you don't have a car, does he understand that? Donald Trump is in his bubble, and he kept making fun of the word affordability. People are struggling. They can't afford basic needs, and Donald Trump keeps making fun of it by calling it all a giant hoax. But Americans know affordability is not a hoax. They see it as very real every time they go to the grocery store, pay their bills, pay the rent. And Donald Trump just doesn't get it. What was Donald Trump's solution to affordability? Well, last night, Trump said parents should buy their kids fewer dolls for Christmas. We're not talking about fewer dolls for Christmas. We're talking about necessities like food, like medicine, like fixing your car when it gets damaged, like maybe going to see the grandkids who you haven't seen in 2 years because you can't afford the trip. He said kids at school should have fewer pencils. And then he repeated his favorite word was tariffs. What kind of world does he live in? Does he understand that these tariffs are raising prices through the roof? When he said his favorite word was tariffs, the crowd sure didn't like that. His own crowd didn't like that, his own crowd of MAGA people. So Donald Trump simply doesn't get it. It takes a special kind of delusion to tell parents to buy their kids fewer toys and pencils while bragging about new ballrooms and gold in the Oval Office. You cut back on your Christmas presents for your kids who might really want something and have looked you in the eye 10 times and said, Mom, Dad, could I have that? And instead, he's spending money on new ballrooms and gold and brags about it. That's Donald Trump in a nutshell. But that's not all. During an interview released a few hours before this so-called affordability tour, Donald Trump was asked how he'd grade himself on the economy. He said A++++++, but the American people are giving him an F. What crackpot economics did Donald Trump study? An A with 5 pluses? Well, in that case, let's look at the test scores. Over the last year, the price of beef has gone up at the grocery store by 20%. That's an F. Today, Americans pay 40% more for a single cup of coffee on their way to work than they did last year. That's an F. People are paying more on electricity bills while Donald Trump has cut domestic energy jobs. That's a massive F. People are paying more for clothing, more for produce. And this week, our farmers had to be bailed out with taxpayer dollars because of Donald Trump's disastrous tariffs. The final grade, a big fat F. In no universe does Donald Trump deserve anywhere close to an A, a B, or even a C for his job on the economy. The reality is Donald Trump is a failure of a president and a failure on the American economy. And I'm not the ones giving Donald Trump a grade, it's the people themselves. Last night, while Donald Trump was mocking affordability in Pennsylvania, voters in Georgia and Florida gave him a big, fat F. In Georgia, just 1 year ago, Democrats lost that state House district by 22 points. Last night, they won it. We've had the first Democratic mayor in Miami in 30 years, what used to be a Republican redoubt. Those elections are another warning shot from the ballot box. Americans are tired of paying more for things they need. They are tired of Donald Trump mocking them because they can't afford the things they need. I warn my Republican colleagues, As Florida and Georgia elections last night showed, you follow Donald Trump to your own doom and our country's doom. Donald Trump might claim he deserves an A++++, but at the ballot box, he's clearly getting an F.